1. Gate crashing a tycoon's engagement banquet. I was just supposed to be here with my parents for a free meal. How did I end up on stage, getting engaged to a female CEO? Xiao Hui, come with us to the hotel tomorrow at noon. The CEO of the Shin family is getting engaged. Got it. When I heard this news, I was in front of my top-spec computer playing games. At the time, all I thought was that I wouldn't have to cook lunch the next day. I had no idea this news would change the rest of my life. The next day, my parents and I took a car to the hotel. After entering, I watched my parents greet their business partners, feeling nothing in particular. I have an older brother, so things like family inheritance probably weren't meant for me. That's why I've always been the good-for-nothing type. When I was born, my parents gave me 1% of the company's shares. My current income relies entirely on dividends from these shares. I'm not the type to spend extravagantly either. Apart from daily necessities and indulging in a few personal hobbies, I save the rest of my money. By now, I've saved up about 10 million. Even if I were kicked out of the family now, this money would be enough for me to live on for the rest of my life. Xiao Hui, come over here quickly. My mom was waving at me, and I hurried over. This is my son, Su Hui. Hello, Uncle Annie. After the greetings, I stood behind my parents and said no more. After this process repeated for about 10 minutes, I made an excuse about needing to use the restroom and escaped. After taking care of my biological needs, I planned to wander around a bit, but then I suddenly heard an Annie on the phone. What? Lu Hanchuan went to pick up that woman. I told you long ago not to let Xiao Yuan marry him, but you wouldn't listen. What do we do now? This sounded like a lot of trouble. I should hurry back and wait for the meal to start before she noticed me. Young man, wait a moment. Help Andy with something. Auntie, I'm a bit busy. My parents are still waiting for me. It's all right. It'll just take 2 minutes of your time. Come with Andy. This Andy grabbed my hand and pulled me backstage. Young man, what's your name? Do you have a girlfriend? Su Hui. I've never had a girlfriend. Are you kidding? I was always the most invisible type at school. I never even told my dorm mates that my family owned a company. Isn't that perfect? Annie needs your help with something. What kind of help? You'll know if you come with Andy. Let's go. The Annie pulled me further backstage. Xiao Hui, go to the dressing room and change into these clothes. Let me know when you're done. It was a bit baffling, but it was probably some kind of best man or MC gig. I changed clothes in a jiffy. Looking in the mirror, I thought I looked quite sharp. Auntie, I'm ready. I pushed open the door. Outside, besides the auntie from before, there was also a very fierce-looking uncle. You're Su Hui? Yes. He looked like a difficult person to get along with. I was momentarily stunned by his imposing aura. Don't get distracted when you go on stage. Oh, okay. Louder. Okay. Unconsciously, I got swept up by their intensity. Then I waited backstage to go on. I originally thought I was going on stage as an MC until I heard the MC's announcement. Please welcome the groom to the stage. Xiao Hui, what are you standing there for? Hurry up and get on stage. The Annie urged me directly. Just like that, completely bewildered, I went on stage. 2. The accidental groom. However, the expected groom didn't appear. I stood foolishly on stage by myself. Of course, with an MC beside me. I didn't hear a single word the MC said next. My brain had completely shut down. Me? The groom? Who's groom? However, I did notice some people whispering when I appeared on stage, though no one called it out. I then glanced at my parents' table. They also seemed a bit shocked, but they didn't make a scene. I figured I'd definitely be bombarded with questions later. Just as I was wondering how to handle the situation, that stern-looking uncle led a girl in a wedding dress onto the stage. Wow, she's really pretty, was my first thought when I saw her. But my composure didn't last long. The stern uncle placed the bride's hand in mine. Now, the groom and bride shall exchange rings. Rings? Where were the rings? Ah, they were on the tray held by the hostess beside us. I quickly picked up the woman's ring and took the bride's delicate hand. Which finger does it go on again? I was so nervous I even forgot where to put it. Sorry, first time getting engaged, no experience here. It wasn't until she slid the ring onto my left ring finger that I snapped out of it and did the same for her. Now, the groom and bride shall seal their vows with a kiss. What? We have to kiss too? That's not great. But the bride had already closed her eyes, waiting. Leaving her hanging like that wouldn't be right, would it? So I leaned in. Just as our lips were about to touch, the banquet hall doors burst open. I'm here. A stranger in a white suit barged in, drawing everyone's attention, including mine. Who the hell is this guy? Couldn't he read the room? Couldn't he see we were about to kiss? Security, throw him out. The uncle grabbed the MC's mic and shouted. Soon, a few burly security guards dragged the man away. That uncle's got quite the booming voice. Would have been better if he hadn't yelled right next to my ear. The mic was returned to the MC. A minor interruption, but good things take time. Now, let the couple proceed with their vow kiss. The MC brushed past the incident effortlessly. I slowly leaned in again. Wow, a girl's lips are this soft. And they smelled nice, too. I don't know how long we kissed before I finally pulled away. That was dangerously addictive. Crap, I think I'm getting too into this act. Whatever, I'll just go with the flow. After that, it was time to go around and toast each table, though the wine glass was probably filled with water, tasteless as it was. The uncle led me and the bride around until we reached my parents' table. I had no idea what expression to wear in front of them. How do I explain that their son went to a banquet and came back with a bride? The rest was the usual tedious toasting routine. By the end, I still hadn't gotten a single bite of warm food. #3. Family Feud surface. Only after the event ended did I finally retreat backstage to rest, only to find my parents, the uncle and aunt, and an unfamiliar middle-aged couple sitting there, the latter two apologizing profusely to the uncle and aunt. Mom, Dad, why are you here? We should be asking you. You went to the bathroom and somehow ended up on stage at someone else's engagement banquet. Don't be upset, in-laws. This is all my fault. I took matters into my own hands and pulled Shall We up there. The aunt interjected in my defense, though my mom still looked displeased. How could you not discuss something this big with me? At least send a text. I thought I was just going to be an MC or groomsman. Didn't think it was a big deal, so I didn't mention it. Enough. Let's drop this. The uncle suddenly snapped, his temper flaring. This is all your son's doing. If your son hadn't insisted on going to the airport to see that one girl, we wouldn't have done this at all. Exactly. The engagement date was set a month ago. That Zhou one could have left any time, earlier or later, but she just had to leave on the engagement day. Do you think our Xiao Yuan is some cheap cabbage, 2 yuan a jean from the fields? I never expected the auntie, who was so gentle just moments ago, to be haggling like a shrew from the wet market. That's not what we meant, in-laws. Enough. Don't call me that. The ties between our families are severed. Leave now, or I'll have the bodyguards escort you out. Hearing this, the couple could only leave dejectedly, shooting me a venomous glare before they went. The three of us, my family, just stood there watching them argue, doing nothing. I'm so sorry, in-laws, for making a scene. The auntie, who was red-faced and agitated from arguing just moments before, now instantly resumed the demeanor of a refined lady from a wealthy family. At this point, my mom also snapped back to reality. Wait a minute. What do you mean by this? Is my son just a backup plan? That's not what I mean. Then what do you mean? Your daughter is precious, but my son was raised by me too. He's not some plaything for you to toy with. Your Shun family is indeed prominent and wealthy, but if you're going to pull something like this, even if I have to risk my old life, I'll fight for our dignity. As soon as my mom finished speaking, she was about to lunge forward. My dad and I quickly held her back. Mom, let's talk things through properly. Don't resort to violence. Exactly, look, Shao hasn't said anything either, has he? Don't hold me back. I want to see what tricks this Shan family is playing. Fellow mother-in-law, you've misunderstood. I genuinely intend for these 2 children to marry and build a life together. Really? Let me explain it to you slowly, all right? Then, the auntie told us all about those messy, trivial affairs of wealthy families. It was nothing more than the uncle having an old army buddy who had once done him a great favor. After the uncle made his fortune and became wealthy, he wanted to arrange a childhood betrothal. However, his own son had an old flame, a guy who was eating from his bowl while eyeing what's in the pot. This was discovered, but the army buddy kept pleading, so the matter was put on hold. But on the day of the engagement, the groom didn't show up. It turned out he had gone to the airport to see off his old flame. So they call me up. Look, Shao Wei is a young man with an impeccable background. He's never had a girlfriend. He's a top student from a 985 university, doesn't smoke or drink, has no bad habits, and is in good health. He even acted courageously for a just cause before. and he has a popular self-media account that makes money. Why don't we let the two kids try dating? If it works out, let them be together. Wait, in just a few hours, they even found out about my self-media account. And the act of bravery must have been when I was in elementary school. They dug that up too? Wealthy families truly have connections everywhere. Yuqing, look, they don't seem unreasonable. Why not just let them try dating? Besides, our son has already kissed their daughter in front of everyone. It wouldn't look good to back out now. That's true. All right then. You'll let my son date your daughter. Yes, yes, yes. Xiao Yuan, come quickly and greet your father-in-law and mother-in-law. Only then did I notice the bride had already entered. Hello, father-in-law, mother-in-law. Hello to you too. My mom also did a complete 180. Indeed, women are fickle. Hold on. Why isn't anyone asking for my opinion? Since we're letting the two children date, they should definitely live together, right? We've already prepared for that. The marital home is ready. Why don't we have Xiaowei and Xiaoyuan move in today? All right, we'll go home and pack our things right away. For first experience of living together. Then, both sets of parents exchanged contact information, and I was taken by the Shun family's car to a luxurious mansion. Sitting beside me was the bride. On the way, I also searched her name. Shun Shiyuan, CEO of Shun Group. It sounded very nice. 28 years old, 3 years older than me. A woman 3 years older holds a golden brick, as they say, a good omen. However, we didn't say a word to each other. Perhaps I didn't know what to say to her. I'll talk to her alone later. We arrived at the mansion arranged by the Shun family, a 3-story villa covering at least 1,000 square meters. Although my 300 square meter apartment in the city center wasn't bad, it definitely couldn't compare to the grand villa arranged by the Shun family. Then, her parents settled us here and took off. Perhaps they had other things to do, but I couldn't be bothered with that. Right now, besides a housekeeper at the gate, it was just Shun Shiyuan and me in the house. Only now did I have the chance to properly look at this beauty who had just become my fiancée. Different from the cold and stern demeanor in her online photos, she now looked like a shy young girl, her face completely red. Just as I was hesitating about when to speak, she spoke first. That was my first kiss at the wedding. Huh? Oh, me too. I was caught off guard by her words and could only manage a casual reply. After quite a while, I finally said what I wanted to say. I'm Su Hui. Shun Shiyuan, right? About this engagement, what are your thoughts? My stance is that I'm okay with anything. Anyway, I can live off the interest from my savings until I die, so the engagement itself doesn't really matter to me. I've never been in a relationship either, so I don't know what to do. But regarding the engagement, how about we do as my mom said and give us a try? Sure, we can use this time to get to know each other. Maybe I'm not even as good as Lu Hanchuan, right? Hearing this, Shun Shiyuan laughed. Then let's see how we get along. First, we had to solve the sleeping arrangement for tonight. We probably couldn't go home. Which room should I sleep in? I'll sleep in this room. What about you? I chose a room on the first floor. I liked its layout. I'll sleep in this room too. Wait, that's not appropriate, is it? What's inappropriate about it? We've already had our engagement party, so we're fiancés. Isn't it perfectly reasonable for fiancés to sleep in the same bed? Well, if you think it's okay, I don't really have a strong opinion. I'm not the one taking advantage, am I? Who's taking advantage is still uncertain, little brother. I noticed the house was very well appointed. The toiletries in the bathroom were all new in pairs. The toothpaste was a brand I'd never seen. A quick scan with my phone showed it cost several tens of US dollars a tube. Truly rich people are different indeed. Shun Shiyuan saw me and walked over. What's wrong? Is something amiss? I've never used such expensive toothpaste before. What kind of toothpaste did you use before? I'll have someone arrange for it later. I've forgotten the brand. It was one on sale at the supermarket back then, 3 yuan a tube. But thanks to her, this country bumpkin gets to try this high-end imported toothpaste today. After washing up, I lay on the bed, and Shun Shiyuan lay beside me. She fell asleep quickly. She wasn't guarded at all. If I really were to do something to her, she definitely couldn't resist. But of course, a youth like me, educated in the new era, wouldn't do anything improper to her. Thinking about these random things, I also closed my eyes. When I woke up the next day, I was unsettled. Unexpectedly, Shun Shiyuan was a terrible sleeper. One of her legs was draped across me, and she had hold of my left arm, while my left hand happened to be resting right on her soft breast. I hadn't realized, even though she looked quite unassuming, that it was more than a handful. Just then, Shen Shiyuan woke up. Feels good. Very soft. Crap, I answered without thinking. As much as I'd like you to keep touching me, I have to go to the office. You can drive me. All right. No breakfast. I usually don't. That won't do. You must eat breakfast, or it's bad for your gallbladder and stomach. A college roommate of mine had his gallbladder removed because he skipped breakfast for a long time. Actually, I just made that up. But skipping breakfast really is bad for you. I don't know how to cook. I'll make it. You get ready for work. So, we both washed up, and then I started making breakfast. There was bacon and eggs in the fridge, so I just fried them up and made a simple sandwich. It took less than 10 minutes. The olive oil, however, had writing in a language I didn't recognize. I looked it up. Turns out it was imported from Italy. Quite an eye-opener. I guess the eggs and bacon weren't cheap either. It's ready. Enjoy. It looks delicious. Oh, right. I forgot to ask if you have any dietary restrictions. Is there anything you can't eat? Not really, except I don't like celery and bitter melon. Then, Shen Shiyuan took a big bite of the sandwich. Tastes good. I didn't know if she meant it or was just being polite, but it still felt good to have someone praise my cooking. I took a bite of my own sandwich too. Tasted good, up to my usual standard. Next, I had to take Shen Shiyuan to her company, as I'd promised her. When we got to the underground garage, I saw it was full of licensed luxury cars. Pick any one you like. It's yours. Rich people really are something else. Since she put it that way, I wasn't going to be modest. Ferraris and Lamborghinis were too flashy. A Range Rover didn't quite fit my vibe. So I picked what looked like the least expensive one, a Cadillac SUV, and got into the driver's seat. Suddenly I remembered my driver's license is still at home. I didn't bring it. I have it. Your mother brought it over yesterday. Oh, Mom, thank you so much. So I started the engine and turned on the GPS. You don't know where the Shun Group building is? Shen Shiyuan asked, seeing me turn on the GPS. I've always been a homebody. I've never been there. It seems our group's publicity department still has work to do. She didn't mock me for being a homebody. Instead, she reflected on her own department's work. It seems my fiancé is quite an interesting person. Soon, we arrived at the Shun Group building, and I followed her up to the CEO's office. I don't understand why these group CEOs always have to work in such high places. Entering CEO Shen Shiyuan's office, she went straight to her desk and sat down. Want some coffee? Just plain water, please. Coffee keeps me awake. Sure. So she personally got me a glass of water from the dispenser. Thanks. I took a sip. It was lukewarm. So what now? I brought you here. Can I go back? Do you have something to do? Not really. Then just stay here, okay? Didn't we say we wanted to get to know each other? All right then. But there wasn't much to do, just sitting here. I figured I might as well play on my phone. So I sat down in an inconspicuous spot and started playing some game. With Bluetooth headphones on, of course. After all, I was in the CEO's office. I couldn't disturb her work. I don't know how long that round went on, but as I ran out of bullets, I got headshot by an opponent, and the round ended. Then I looked up and saw Shen Shiyuan standing behind me, watching me play. I hadn't noticed her standing behind me at all. Is this fun? I've never played it. I quite like playing it myself. Then you'll have to teach me sometime. I'm off to a meeting now. You can keep playing. 5. Lu Hanchuan's challenge. Shen Shiyuan left the office, and now I was alone. A little later, while I was playing my game, there was a knock on the CEO's office door. I initially didn't want to bother, since the CEO wasn't in and it wasn't really my place. But the person outside kept knocking, which made me miss my shot. I walked to the door and opened it. The CEO isn't in. She's at a meeting. I don't know when she'll be back. You should come back later. Having said that, I didn't care about his reaction and was about to close the door. Who are you? Why are you in Shiyuan's office? The man looked furious, as if someone had run off with his wife. Who the hell do you think you are? It's none of your business who I am. If you don't leave, I'm calling security. Go ahead, call them. Let's see who they side with, you or me. I ignored him, simply walked over to Shen Shiyuan's desk and dialed the internal line. Hello, security? There's someone causing trouble in the CEO's office. Send some people over to handle it. We'll send someone right away. Please wait. In less than a minute, a team of uniformed personnel rushed upstairs, as if their jobs depended on not being a second late. What's going on? Who's causing trouble in the CEO's office? Him. He's in the CEO's office. Detain him. I strongly suspect he's a corporate spy from another company, here to steal things. The other guy immediately played the victim, accusing me first. In contrast, I just glanced at the man in charge. I have nothing to say. Let's wait for CEO Shun to finish her meeting. Having said that, I went straight back to my game. Unsurprisingly, I'd lost the previous round. Oh, what rotten luck. I had no choice but to start a new game. The security head glanced at me, then turned to the other man and said, "Excuse me, please leave." "Why? I'm CEO Shun's fiancé." "Not anymore. Please leave immediately, or we will have to use force to remove you." The man shot me a resentful glare, then turned and left. "Mr. Sue, we'll let you get back to it. We're heading off." Thanks for your hard work, everyone." Then everyone left, and the CEO's office returned to its previous state of quiet. A little later, the CEO's office door suddenly burst open, startling me and causing me to miss my shot again. "Oh, it's you. I thought that guy had come back." "Who are you talking about?" "A guy knocked earlier. I told him you weren't in, but he was persistent, so I called security using your internal line. Before they kicked him out, he tried to claim he was your fiancé. So it was that Lu Hanchuan. Looks like it's time to kick him out of the company." "But something's a bit odd. I never told the security guys my name. So how did they know my surname is Sue? Any idea?" I stared at Shun Shiyuan's face, trying to read her expression. What? Nothing at all. I need to get back to work." She stammered for a moment, but quickly composed herself. I didn't press the issue. Soon it was noon, time for lunch. "Where's the company cafeteria?" I asked. "I'm a bit hungry." "No need to go to the company cafeteria. I had my secretary order food for two. Let's just eat in the office." Soon after, a small food cart was pushed into the CEO's office. "Wow, that's a lot. Can we finish it all?" I didn't know what you like to eat, so I ordered all of their signature dishes. "Anyway, let's eat first." Although the portion for each dish wasn't large, there were just so many of them. Shen Shiyuan and I were both almost stuffed by the time we barely managed to finish it all. "No, next time, I'll order less." "That would be great." I was so full I barely had the energy to speak, but we couldn't waste food. In the blink of an eye, it was time to get off work. Shen Shiyuan and I were about to drive back when we were stopped again in the underground garage. "Shiyuan, you still haven't forgiven me?" "Lu Hanchuan, don't call me that. It's so cringy. Besides, my attitude should have been very clear. It's impossible between us. Don't force me to drop all pretense. How is this guy better than me? How did the topic suddenly shift to me? You can't even compare to a single strand of his hair. Now, disappear from our site immediately. Oh, and by the way, tomorrow, go to finance, collect your salary, and leave. I'll transfer the full compensation to your card. Not a penny less." Then we ignored him and drove off. "I noticed you didn't say a word. Are you angry? I trust you to handle these things. That guy is just a clown in my eyes. He can't cause any emotional ripples in me at all." Later, after we got home, we both tacitly avoided mentioning Lu Hanchuan, and then he disappeared from our lives. My shoulders are so sore after working all day. Of course, carrying 2 nuclear bombs on her chest, of course her shoulders would be sore. Of course, that was just something to think to myself. Let me give you a shoulder rub. I learned this skill from an old master. My family all says it's good. Shen Shiyuan didn't resist and let me massage her shoulders. "It's a bit stiff here. Do you usually strain this area a lot?" Shen Shiyuan let out a suggestive sound, but I remained unfazed and continued massaging her shoulders with the same technique. By the time the massage was over, Shen Shiyuan was covered in a fragrant sweat. "I'm going to take a shower. Do you want to join me?" "No, we only met yesterday. That wouldn't be appropriate. Maybe in a few days." "Then in a few days, don't you dare refuse, okay?" Shen Shiyuan went in the bathroom, and I felt a bit hot all over for some unknown reason. I should drink some water to cool down. In the following week, my cohabitation with Shen Shiyuan went very smoothly. I made breakfast for her every day, then we went to the company together. I played games in the CEO's office while she worked. She even specially set up a high-spec computer in her office for me to play games on. In the evenings, we would go home together, I'd give her a massage, and at night, we slept in the same bed. We were like an old married couple who had been together for a long time. This day was a day off. Since I don't like going out, Shen Shiyuan stayed home with me, being a homebody. My computer had also been moved to the new house. Although it was hard to part with the computer in the CEO's office, my home computer was still better. After all, I had assembled every component myself. I was playing online games with my college roommates, and Shun Shiyuan was beside me, watching me play. I was wondering, before we got engaged, what did you usually do on your days off? I was usually at the company. Even if there wasn't much to do, you never knew if something unexpected might come up. I was used to it. Being a SO really isn't easy. Is it really okay for you to just watch me play like this today? It's fine. I pay my subordinates so much. If I can't even get a single full day off because of this, the company might as well go bankrupt. The words had barely left my mouth when Shun Shiyuan's phone rang. Shun Shiyuan apologized to me, then took her phone and stepped out to answer the call. I didn't mind. After all, even a married couple needs to give each other some privacy. For example, I wouldn't want Shun Shiyuan to see some of the things on my hard drive and in my browser history. Then, less than 2 minutes later, Shun Shiyuan came back in. Sorry, honey. Something came up at the company that I need to go take care of. Want me to go with you? No need. Some people downstairs just stirred up a bit of trouble. I'll go chew someone out and be right back. With that, she leaned in and pecked me on the lips. Interactions like this had become quite routine for us over the past week. I'll get going then. Have a safe trip. Then I went back to my game. Not long after, I felt a bit thirsty, so I went to the kitchen to get some water, and that's when I heard the intercom at the door buzzing. I walked over and answered it. Who is it? Shiyuan, it's me. Let me in. She's not here. With that, I hung up the intercom. But it wasn't long before it buzzed again. I told you she's not here. Who are you? Who I am is none of your damn business. Scram, or I'm calling security. After hanging up, I opened the door and glanced outside. Sure enough, it was that Lu Hanchuan fellow. Honestly, I had zero interest in him, so I just shut the door. The intercom was still buzzing, so I dialed security directly on the internal line. There's someone here who keeps buzzing the intercom. It's really annoying. Come deal with it. Understood. We'll be right there. Less than 2 minutes later, the intercom stopped. I opened the door again and saw he'd already been dragged away. One annoying guy. Looks like we'll need to discuss how to deal with him. Not long after, Shun Shiyuan returned, and I told her about Lu Hanchuan showing up. That Lu Hanchuan is too arrogant. Looks like I need to teach him a lesson. It was rare to see Shun Shiyuan angry. Then I won't get involved. I'll leave it all to you. I trusted Shun Shiyuan to handle it. Sure enough, not long after, I heard that Lu Hanchuan's entire family had moved out of town. I don't know what method Shun Shiyuan used, but I wasn't too concerned. 6. A night of passion not long after, Shun Shiyuan and I got married. The wedding ceremony was even grander than the engagement party. This time, it wasn't just my parents and Shun Shiyuan's parents. My older brother and his family came too. My nephew was only 3 years old and looked around, clearly not understanding what was happening. Compared to my inexplicably awkward appearance on stage last time, I was much better prepared this time. Even the kiss wasn't as simple as before. We had already registered our marriage before the wedding ceremony. When night fell and Shun Shiyuan and I were in our hotel room, there was, of course, only one thing to do. After our night of passion, Shun Shiyuan traced circles on my chest with her finger, and I did the same on her breast with my palm. Honey, you're amazing. Actually, I've always had a question. Why didn't you show any resistance at all, from beginning to end? It was clearly an arranged marriage. Actually, to be honest, I've had my eye on you for a long time. Since when? Do you remember saving a girl from a group of thugs when you were in elementary school? Don't tell me. That's right. That girl was me. I've come to repay your kindness. That incident happened over a decade ago. Back then, I was on my way home from school when I saw a few men grabbing a girl's arm, trying to stuff her into a minivan. I called the police first. Then, seeing she was about to be taken away, I quickly picked up a stick from the roadside and hit one of them on the hand. After the girl broke free, I grabbed her and we ran. If the police hadn't arrived in time, we almost would have been caught together. After that, I was commended for my bravery and received a sum of money as a reward, which was said to be from the girl's family as a token of their gratitude. So that's how it was. But after all these years, didn't you ever consider what you'd do if I were a bad person? Our family has always been keeping an eye on yours. Even your large flat was developed by my family. No wonder we got such a big discount when we bought the large flat. So that was the connection. Also, just now, Dad said he wants to see his grandchild. Then I'd better get to work. Ah, I rolled over and pinned her down, ready for another round of intense battle. Shun Xiuan let out a cry of surprise, seemingly a bit shocked at how quickly I had recovered. But she soon accepted me. No words were spoken that night. Only a plum blossom stain on the bedsheet bore witness to it all. 7. Family dinner after a period of cultivation. Shun Xiuan soon became pregnant. This made both families very happy, and even our house had many more staff assigned to it. As time went by, her belly grew bigger day by day, and it became difficult for her to go to the company. So, at her request, I took up a nominal position at the company, responsible for liaising between her and the company. One day, just as I was getting out of my car in the company's underground garage, a masked man holding a gun stood in front of me. "Don't move." I shook my head. Not only was the gun he was holding obviously a toy, but his mask was also incredibly ugly. Plus, he hadn't even noticed that my bodyguards were already standing behind him. Very quickly, he was pinned to the ground by the bodyguards. Obviously, a son-in-law of a wealthy family like me would naturally have bodyguards when out and about. It's not like in those female-oriented web novels where people get kidnapped at the drop of a hat, right? The bodyguards pulled off his mask. He looked somewhat familiar, but I couldn't remember who he was. "Who are you again? Have we met? You took everything from me, and now you say you don't know me. What did I take from you? This is ridiculous. I should have been the one to become the Shun family's son-in-law. But because of you, I lost everything. It's all your fault." "Ah, so you're that Lu. Lu something? Never mind. It's not important." Over a year had passed. I'd long forgotten this guy's name and what he looked like. Speaking of which, didn't you choose this path yourself? You ditched the engagement back, then to go to the airport to find your old flame. That was all a setup. That bitch already had someone abroad. And to think she kept me hanging on. And do you know? That woman was also a trap set by the Shun family. All to make my engagement with Shun Xiuan fall through. Well, didn't you still choose that yourself? All right, stop blocking my way. I'm busy. The bodyguards will handle the rest. Then I went into the company building. Not long after, when I went to the hospital to see Shun Xiuan, I told her about this incident. He said that woman was arranged by your family. What's that all about? Then Shun Xiuan explained everything the Shun family had arranged. Originally, the Shun family didn't want to marry Shun Xiuan to Lu Hanchuan. However, Lu Hanchuan's father had indeed saved Father Shun's life, and Lu Hanchuan, through some unknown connections, had even gotten some other Shin family elders to pressure Father Shin. After that, Lu Hanchuan, thinking he had the Shun family firmly in his grasp, started philandering. Or perhaps he was simply that kind of person all along. Then, Father Shun directly co-opted Lu Hanchuan's old flame, letting him fall step by step into her tender trap. At the engagement party, this bombshell was completely detonated, allowing me to take his place. This way, my position became legitimate, and Lu Hanchuan had no grounds, either emotionally or rationally, to ever bring up the engagement again. I have to admit, the schemes of these wealthy families are truly dark. I certainly couldn't have conceived of such a plan. So, I'd best just stick to living off my wife. Are you angry? I'm truly sorry I didn't tell you sooner. No, I'm not angry. If it weren't for your arrangements, how could I possibly have married such a wonderful wife? From that point on, the last hidden issue between us completely vanished. Later, our children were born, a pair of twins. After that, I reverted to being a stay-at-home dad. But unlike before, this time there were 2 more children with us. DDY, I'd prompt them. Dabu, Daba. My son's speech was still a little indistinct, but my daughter was a quicker learner. Nevertheless, everything was heading in a better direction. Come and eat. Coming. Each of us holding a child, we began today's family dinner.